Welcome to Dental Brain Crops. I'm your host, Chelsea Myers, and this really is the highlight of my week doing this show, and today is no exception. I'm joined with Brian Colao, who I have immense respect and appreciation for. Brian, welcome to the show.
Chelsea, thank you so much for having me here. This is just a real pleasure to be here and talk to your audience today.
Yeah, thank you. So you're the director of the DSO industry group at Dykema. If you could just tell me, who exactly do you service?
Yeah, we service group practices, dental DSOs, dental service organizations. We do represent a couple, solo practices as well. And basically anybody that is going to have any type of affiliation with the DSO industry, whether you're going to affiliate, you're going to sell, your practice, whether we're representing a DSO that's going to buy practices. We represent lenders in the space. We represent organizations that want to set up regulatory compliant DSOs, and pretty much anything that can affect a DSO group practice or a large solo practice. I have 50 attorneys that work for me here, and that's what we do in our group.
Yeah, thank you. And, you and your team have been instrumental even in some of my own transactions. And so you're an easy and confident referral that I like to give. But when we say the word DSO, that can be a little bit daunting for people, depending on where they're at in that process. And so could you just tell me, what is a DSO?
No, that's really where we have to begin, because there's so much misinformation in the marketplace. And some people, like a lot of consultants, we won't mention them on your phone, but people that are well-known consultants, if you go on LinkedIn and you look them up, and they got a following, and podcasters and people, they really don't know. I mean, I listen to some of the stuff they say and I get it's scary. They don't fully understand DSOs. So a DSO is a dental service organization, sometimes a dental support organization. Basically, it provides non-clinical administrative support services to dental practices that are 100% owned by licensed dentists. So the next question always is, well, why? Why you need something like that? Mm-hmm. Well, you need something like that because if non-dentists want to participate in the dental industry, the only way they can do it is through a DSO. And why do non-dentists want to participate? And why are there billions and billions of dollars flowing into the dental space? Because dentistry is proven to be recession-proof and pandemic-proof now, and is one of the most successful segments of the economy. So the non-dentists have all the money. I mean, all the PE funds, the private equity funds, and all the other investors. That's really, relatively speaking, if you compare individual dentists that used to buy dental practices versus massive private equity groups, the private equity groups and the non-dentists have all the money, and the only way they can participate in this extremely white hot dental marketplace is through a DSO. So the relationship, of course, is contractual. A DSO enters into a management agreement and other contracts with dental offices that are 100% owned by licensed dentists, and that allows non-dentists to participate in the dental industry and allows for above market returns. I mean, here's the thing. When the whole world suddenly can bid on a dental office instead of just a licensed dentist in the state where the practice is, the returns skyrocket, and you get where we are now, Chelsea, the most explosive M&A marketplace in the 27 years I've been an attorney. We're in the most explosive M&A marketplace in dentistry I've ever seen.
And what is motivating that? Because the multiples are incredibly impressive right now.
Competition is motivating. I mean, it's a simple, one of the most, Chelsea, simplest rules of economics: supply and demand and competition. And there is an incredible amount of competition because there's incredible party going on in dentistry. It's recession-proof, it's pandemic-proof. All the non-dentists want to participate in this party. So they're competing with each other, and that competition is driving up these prices.
Wow. Okay, so let's say I'm a dentist and I'm trying to figure out, okay, this DSO thing sounds really interesting to me. How do I know when to take that next move, and what is that next move for me?
Yeah, so a couple things on that. First, this is the wave of the future, right? The industry is about just under 40% consolidated, with the existing practices being affiliated with DSOs. In the next 10 years, that's probably going to go up to 80% because, again, the there is just an incredible amount of investment money being deployed, and the multiples of EBITDA that are being paid on practices are the highest they've ever been. So you just see the industry consolidating at a record pace. So that is the wave of the future. So if you're a solo, you have a couple choices. You can affiliate with the DSO right now, basically sell the assets of your practice for a multiple of EBITDA, and you can stay on. When we say exit, it doesn't necessarily mean that you leave. If there's dentists listening here that are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, you're going to stay involved. You're just going to take some money off the table and probably get what's called rollover shares. So if you sell your practice for $1 million, $600,000 will go to cash at closing. $400,000 will be reinvested in shares in the organization going forward. And when they sell, in 3 to 5 years, you'll participate. And, the rollover interest is worth usually a lot more than the cash you get at closing. So these are tremendous opportunities for solo practices. The best thing you can do right now is grow your EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization. It's the standard by which practices are valued. There's a lot of things you can do. Look at your payer mix, for one, look at your overhead, make certain modifications, sort of to your overhead, maximize your specialty revenue, a lot of different things you can do in your office to try to increase your EBITDA, but that should be your goal if you're a solo. Whether you're not going to sell for many years or you're looking to do something in the near future, you need to maximize your EBITDA because that's how the value of your practice will be measured.
Yeah, which doesn't necessarily mean number of practices. It means... No. Yeah.
Right. Sometimes the most profitable thing you can do, Chelsea, is close an office. If it's not profitable, if you've got $2 million of EBITDA, I'll give two examples if we have a second. I mean, two real illustrated examples. The first one is you have a $2 million practice, okay? And this is an EBITDA example. And it takes $1.8 million to operate that $2 million practice. What is your EBITDA? $200,000. Now you've got a $1 million practice and it takes $600,000 to operate that practice. What is the EBITDA? $400,000. What have we learned? The $1 million practice is twice as valuable as the $2 million practice. So this is why we've got to use EBITDA, as the measuring stick, not gross revenue. That's a very, very important, distinction, when we're sort of valuing, these organizations, in the marketplace.
Yeah. Okay. So let's say that that's in place. EBITDA is looking good. And now I'm deciding, okay, I think that I want to do something. I want to grow. Where do I go from here? Do I now get my paperwork in order? Do I find my partner? Do I team up with an existing DSO? What do I do?
Yeah, I mean, if you feel like you're ready to go to market and you want to explore affiliating with DSOs, it's fairly easy to do. I mean, there's lots of DSOs. You can go to a lot of conferences and be introduced to, DSOs. They have business development departments that, you can reach out and they'll be, usually very interested in talking to you, in your office. If not, you can certainly hire a broker or an iBanker to market your practice. They'll know everywhere to go. And, somebody will give you an offer based on your EBITDA. If you get where we say a multiple, if you get 5 times EBITDA and your EBITDA is 200,000, that's $1 million. I mean, that's very simply how these things are valued.
Yeah. Excellent. And so you talk about these conferences and you've got one coming up. In fact, I was at your, I don't know if it was your first or second one back in Dallas, and they've just exploded. Even then it was amazing, but now they've just exploded. There's fireworks, there's all kinds of things going on. And so you've got one coming up July 13th through the 15th, the Colorado Rockies at the Gaylord. Tell me about that event.
Yeah, no, we don't like to talk about the first one, Chelsea. You were there. I think you maybe first. You were at number 2. The first one we had 42 people. Even number 2, I don't even think we hit.
It was a good event. Well,
yeah, you were there, and I always have appreciated that, and and really it meant a lot. Everybody that came back in those days, but now you're right. We get 1,500 people there. It's the event of the year. This year, for example, it's July 13th through 15th in Denver. You can go to DSO.com and get the information. We're not quite sold out yet. 1,500 will be our cap. I checked this morning. We were like 1,300. So there's room for a couple hundred more people, to maybe sign up. But, we're having a laser drone show. We've got Lindsey Vaughn, the Olympic Hall of Fame skier, is going to be speaking. Tom Izzo, the Michigan State NCAA champion coach, will be speaking. We've just got incredible content over a couple days. Woman in DSO. I know a lot of your audience are women. Chelsea, Woman in DSO, is having their Velocity event there. I serve on that board of directors, so there are terrific opportunities for women in dentistry to get involved. It's just an overall great event, and I know you're coming. I'm going to be really excited to see you in person as well.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to see you as well. What I love about these events is what we try to do in business is minimize the number of times that we're reactive in our businesses and try and be very proactive with our strategy. And when you get a whole bunch of experts in the same place, the giants of dentistry, you just have access to so much knowledge and wisdom for free in that one space. Free.
Well, yeah, for a modest whatever, we don't make any money. Some events they do, it's become like a money-making thing. We're a law firm. We never make money on this event, so I don't know what we charge, $600 or $700. So, yeah, you got to pay that to get in. But other than that, yeah, all this stuff is for free. If you were to try to, flag down all these resources on your own, you easily. And many times, what we're talking about, to attend the event. And, I would just say this, anybody that wants to sell their practice and doesn't quite know enough about the marketplace, I will make this promise. If you come to our event, and nobody has to, but if you want to sell and you come to our event, you will leave with introductions to, minimum 5, 6, 7, 8 potential buyers. If you do that, it's that, we draw from that audience. So anybody that maybe doesn't quite understand the market or what the next step is, where to go, come to this event and we'll make sure you get introduced to the right people.
Yeah, thank you. I love that. And at minimum, just illuminate the path that you think you want to go down. I'll let it answer a lot of questions. Either it's going to be for you or you're going to figure something else out while you're there.
Sometimes nobody has to sell that's listening here, but if you're wondering, what is my practice worth? What would the value, what would somebody pay in the marketplace for it? And what do they have to offer? It's the job of these buyers. They're happy to make an offer on it. Not everybody's going to be interested, but they're very, very happy to do that. And I think, if you're at that point, you should at least test the market, be educated as to what the value of your organization is now, even if you ultimately decide not to do something for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. Because contrary-wise, you might meet someone who's been and done right where you're at and can help you grow to the point that you want to grow to and hang on to your organization, whatever is of interest to you.
Plus, you get a baseline, right? Because the market is so explosive right now. A lot of your listeners might get several offers, and it's helpful to get a couple baselines. Say, all right, this organization's going to pay, I don't know, $1.5 million for my practice. So when this other person offers $1 million, I'm going to laugh in their face. When this other person offers $2 million, I'm like, oh, well, that's actually pretty good. You have a baseline, and you understand how your organization is being valued.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, thank you so much, Brian. This has been a lot of fun. I can't wait to see you. I'm really excited for the event. Is there anything else that you want to share with our audience before we close out?
No, it's really good to see you, Chelsea, and my honor sort of to be here. If anybody ever has any questions about group practices, DSOs, or your options in the marketplace, obviously I can be found at DykemaDSO.com, Brian Colao. You don't have to hire me. This is what I do for a living. I love educating people. I'm now teaching at a dental school, so I'm the business of dentistry. So I just love meeting people and answering questions. So if I can ever do anything for anybody, I'm real happy to do it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Brian. All right.
Take care.